everybody. My name is Mariam Salie and I am a clinical psychologist. My good friend and colleague Jill Masters has asked me to prepare a brief talk on mental health during our current global pandemic. Before I start, I'd like to start this brief introduction just with how I normally start, or what I do for myself when I just need to think a bit more clearly. I take a pause and I take a deep breath. So we're going to just take 3 deep breaths before we get started. And we breathe through the nose, in by the nose and out by the mouth. Right? So deep breath in. Another one. And last one. Now the reason I've asked you just to start by taking 3 deep breaths, I want to explain something. In a situation where there's some kind of fear, our brains just activate a system that goes into a fight or flight mode, right? And this happens when there's an external source of fear. Our brains do this because it's trying to protect us, and everything speeds up in our bodies so that we can think quicker on whether we can fight the situation or flight the situation. Now, in times where we can't fight and we can't flight, sometimes the body does go into freeze mode. And this is what's happening at the moment. This is what everyone is going through. The other thing I want to just start off saying is that what's happening now has never happened before. None of us have experienced this before. We've never experienced a global pandemic of this nature. So it's very difficult to try and figure out how we are supposed to respond or how we should respond. And many people are left feeling like the way they are responding is not good enough, or that they should be doing something, or that life should go on as normal. Everybody has different thoughts about what we should do. But the important thing to remember is that this is new. The way we are responding is that we're responding very normally to a very abnormal situation, right? So how you respond and how I respond could be different, but we respond in a way that works for us. But just firstly, we need to understand that, like I said, our brains kick into gear with that fight or flight system, and everything speeds up for us to try and figure out in a quicker manner how to respond to the situation. And the best way to get the body just back to equilibrium is to just take a couple of deep breaths. Now, these deep breaths is very important just, at any given time where you feel overwhelmed, where you feel anxious, where you feel like you don't know what's going on. Just pause and take a deep breath. It really does help. Right. So now that I've given you an introduction about this current global pandemic that we are facing, let me tell you what I found is useful in times of when things are going a bit chaotic. So the first thing is that we are bombarded with information at the moment, and one doesn't always know what is accurate, what is truthful. There's lots of theories going around, there's lots of information flying around, and it's very difficult to try and figure out which information is the one to take heed of. So the best thing to do with that is that find one source, just one source that you can find your information from that you know is accurate. So either a news source, so ENCA or your SABC News or News 24, any one of them, but just choose one. Alternatively, choose an official site like the Department of Health, or the presidential pages, because those pages usually are updated with accurate information. So that's the first thing. Don't flood yourself with information, because one can get very overwhelmed with everything that's going around. Secondly, the place that we get most of our information from is our social media pages, right? So limit the time that you spend on these social media pages and limit the information that you take from there. Social media is also a good way to stay in touch. So I'm not going to say, just cut it all out. We do need to also stay up to date with what's going on, but choose just one source that has accurate information, and use your social media to stay in touch with your friends and family. And that's another thing that's important. We are in lockdown, we are in isolation, but that doesn't mean we can't connect with the friends and our family and our loved ones, right? It's very important actually in this time to stay in touch, to stay connected. And thankfully we're in a technological age where it's very easy to stay in touch. You can send a WhatsApp, you can do a video call. There's so many platforms. So find a platform that works for you and make use of it. schedule your calls with your friends, do a mental health check-in. My colleagues and I do mental health check-ins regularly, just to chat about, what your plans are, what you're doing, what you've been up to, things that are concerning you. It's good to have these conversations with those that are close to you. And of course, when you do share information, do stick to the facts. And then the other thing is keep busy. I know that some people are working from home, like myself, so it's very easy to keep busy because you've got your work that you need to do. But for those who are not working from home, try to have activities for you and your children, if you have children, and for your family. Try to create some kind of routine or activities and tasks that you are doing. A few friends of mine have told me that one friend of mine said that they're busy with a fish pond. Another friend has started gardening. So there's a lot of different activities or tasks that one can do just to keep busy. Right, so try to create some kind of schedule where you include enough time for yourself, enough time for the family, because it's a very good time for bonding, and enough time for an activity. So exercise is something good to do, and I know that not everyone is exercise junkies, but there are different forms of exercise that one could take part of, right? So there's you could do dancing, you could do Taibo, you could do Zumba. And again, we live in a technological age where we have access to so many things via the internet. YouTube is full of videos, for workouts, and whatever your flavor, you'll find it there. The important thing is to try to at least have just even if it's a short period of time, a couple of minutes a day, where you do some kind of activity that involves movement. Right? This is very good for our mood, for sustaining our mood, but also just because of the kind of situation that we're in. And it is important, as much as we are in lockdown, it is important to go outside now and then, not outside of your property, but outside of your house, into your backyard, or if you have a front yard, just to go, sit for 5 minutes in the sun or get some fresh air. We are in lockdown, but don't coop yourself up in the house all the time, because this can also just drive you crazy. And then the tasks and activities that you do, you could do it by yourself. They could be those activities that you do together with your family, if you have kids, and there could be activities that are just for the kids. I know there's been a lot of information also going around with for children, for educational activities, entertainment, edutainment. So try and get hold of those things and, try to create some kind of schedule for children as well. The one thing that helps when things are chaotic is to find a routine. And this routine will not be your normal routine because you're not getting up and going to work, or your kids are not getting up and going to school. So you have to create a routine that fits this normal at the moment, right? Because normal is something that is fluid. So what's normal today is not what was normal yesterday. So your routine that you have to create must be what will work for now. And we will all find different things that will work for us, and that's okay. And then for most people, prayer and meditation is also something that is useful in these kind of distressing times. People find that engaging in prayer and engaging in meditation is something that not only helps calm us down or to keep our mood intact, but also gives people a sense of hope that we can overcome this challenge that we find ourselves in, and it helps reduce the anxiety and the stress. I've already mentioned exercise as part of as an activity that one could do, but it really is important that we try and find some kind of task or activity that will allow movement for ourselves, for our kids, for our families. It really is important, and it really does help with the mood and the energy levels. And then for children, I think that during this time, it's just natural that children will ask a lot of questions, and we might not have all of the answers, and that's okay. If you don't know the answer, say, I don't know the answer, but I'll find out for you. When you share information with children, be sure to share appropriate for their age level. So for children who are older, you could have a discussion about what's going on. For children who are younger, let them know briefly what's going on, but also let them know that there are plans in place that is trying to address the issue. Children need to feel secure, they need to feel safe. So when you do discuss with them, let them know that as much as this is a challenge we are facing, that many people are currently working on what we can do to address this as well. And then lastly, if there's a need, seek help. again, I always say that we are so lucky to live in this technological age that we do, because things are so easily accessible. If you feel that you are not able to manage yourself or your emotions, or your kids' emotions for that matter, during this time, there's lots of resources, there's lots of groups that you can make contact with, and most psychologists are still providing psychological services, although because of the situation, or these services are provided online or via teletherapy. So you can just easily do a search for a psychologist in your area, and make contact with them if you do require some professional help. And then, all of this that I've given you, what works for me might not work for you. And I can tell you that of the first week of lockdown, I have all of these resources at my disposal. But the first week of lockdown, what we did, myself and my kids, I've got 4 children, so I am a clinical psychologist. I have a practice that I run part-time. I'm a lecturer at the university, which is my full-time job. I have 4 children, and I'm also a PhD student. I'm just starting off with my proposal. So I thought, when it was first announced, because we've been working from home prior to the lockdown announcement, that I can use this time to work on my PhD proposal, and I'm going to be so productive. But when the lockdown was announced that first week, all of our routines were out, all of our structures were out. We were waking up late in the morning, sleeping late at night, binging on movies. We were baking up a storm, and this is okay. I think we sometimes put a lot of pressure on ourselves to perform in a certain way at a certain time. And the thing is, we are in a global crisis. There's a global pandemic happening. If you can't be productive, that's okay. It's worrying what's going on. It's normal to worry about what's going on. It's normal to worry about, how I'm going to pay my bills next month. Those are all normal things. It's normal to be anxious about what's going on. So if you find yourself not being productive, that is okay. Be kind to yourself. Remember to be kind to yourself, and just focus on present. Just focus on what's happening right now. If you need to be there for your children, be there for them. If you need to be there for yourself, be there for yourself. But remember to be kind to yourself, because this is where we're at right now. We don't know where we're going to be at next month, but as we have information and as things change, we change our schedule, we change our routine. So I think also in that first week, my mentor sent me a message, and she said, don't try to be productive. Now, this is my mentor sending me that message. And, I told her in the beginning I actually wanted to be, but when I realized that, look, what's happening is that everyone is stressed out. As much as you are stressed out, your children are stressed out. So one needs to take all of that into consideration, and just deal with things, as they come. And just, like I said, focus on what's happening right now. So try to be present. The last thing I want to mention is that we are all in different spaces. We all have different accesses, and we have different resources at our disposal. I'm very thankful and grateful that for me, I have access to internet, and I can easily, just go look up things that I need to, get some resources for the kids, but not everybody is so fortunate. So what I want to say about that is, take this as a time to reflect. Psychology teaches you to reflect, and we always look for that time to reflect, and now we've been given the time. So as busy as we are, as busy as our lives were, we've been given a pause button, and it's very important that we use that time to reflect on where we are at, where we were, and where we would like to be once all of this has passed. We have to be mindful about the fact that many South Africans do not have the resources and the access that some of us do. One thing about a system is that when there's a challenge, it exposes the flaws, and the biggest flaw of South Africa is the inequality that our people face. And so during this time, we can see that has been brought to the fore, and our government and many other organizations are trying very hard to try and address the challenges of the under-resourced, the underprivileged parts of our population, but let's us also try to do our bit for them as well. So use this time to reflect on when this passes, where you'd like to be. So thank thank you very much for listening to me. I would like to take this opportunity to wish everyone well for the rest of the lockdown period. Remember to breathe when you need to. Remember to take this time as a reflection, to think about where you'd like to be once this is all passed, and remember to spare thought for those less fortunate than ourselves. And I think, one thing that this has shown is that people do care for each other, because everyone is staying home, and I'm healthy and you might be healthy, and for us it's not an issue, but we are staying home for the others who are not. We are staying home for the elderly, we are staying home for the vulnerable, we are staying home for people with compromised immune systems. And this tells me that there's so much love, there's so much Ubuntu in South Africa. There's so much that our people, so much love that our people have for each other, and I'm very proud to be a South African at this moment. I'm always proud, but more so in times like these. So I'll leave you with that, and I will leave my details with Jill if you'd like to get in contact with me. Like I said, I do run a practice part-time, and for at this point in time I am providing services online. My number is 071 172 5399. I will leave my email address and other details with Jill, and all the best. Thank you.